Manufactured scarcity. Scarcity is rarely natural. You've been told scarcity is inevitable, that there simply isn't enough. Not enough money. Not enough housing. Not enough time. Not enough opportunity. But in modern systems, scarcity rarely appears as emptiness. It appears as pressure. Precise, sustained, calibrated, not enough to collapse the structure. Just enough to keep you managing it. If scarcity were natural, it would look like drought, but in systems, it looks like policy. So instead of asking whether scarcity exists, ask how it is maintained. Because maintained scarcity leaves fingerprints. Debt is normalization. Adulthood now begins with obligation. Student loans, mortgages and rents, credit dependency. Debt is no longer an emergency condition. It is baseline expectation. And that changes behavior. When survival is tied to repayment, risk tolerance shrinks. Career choices narrow. Relocation becomes dangerous. Descent becomes too expensive. Debt does not remove resources entirely. It just keeps you slightly short. Inflation without alignment. Productivity rises, costs rise, purchasing power contracts. Wages lag behind expansion. Does this sound familiar? You work more. You stretch further. You adjust expectations. The system does not fail. It recalibrates, and you adapt to the recalibration. Again, not collapse, but pressure, constant pressure. Planned obsolescence. Devices are replaced, not repaired. Products are built for turnover. Upgrades become necessity. The economy requires consumption, and consumption requires replacement. Stability becomes temporary by design. When everything around you expires on schedule, long-term security becomes difficult to construct. Nothing fully breaks, but nothing fully lasts. Housing is commodity. Shelter is foundational. But when housing becomes investment first and stability second, availability shifts. Prices rise faster than wages. Ownership concentrates. Mobility declines. Housing scarcity rarely looks like empty land. It looks like access being priced just out of reach. Again, slightly short, and they tell you to work harder. Bureaucratic friction. Forms, applications, approvals, delays. Time becomes a resource that you constantly surrender. The more complex the system, the more energy required to navigate it. Complexity exhausts, and exhaustion narrows focus. All because narrow focus favors survival over structural change. The psychological effect. Chronic pressure activates the nervous system. Low-grade persistent stress, not crisis, not catastrophe, just sustained tension. And when your nervous system is under sustained tension, decision fatigue increases. Long-term planning decreases. Civic participation declines. Risk tolerance drops. A population in survival mode rarely redesigns the environment it's surviving inside of. So they keep you managing scarcity, so you don't even look at the system. That's not accusation, it's physiology. Calibration. Noticing the pattern. Resources are not removed entirely, they are adjusted. Just enough debt to limit flexibility. Just enough inflation to stretch stability. Just enough instability to prevent accumulation. Just enough complexity to drain your time. Scarcity becomes the constant backdrop. You learn to live slightly behind, and when you feel behind long enough, it begins to feel normal. The recognition. When was the last time that you felt ahead? Not stable, actually ahead. If you can't remember, that is not an indication of personal failure. It may indicate environmental calibration, because scarcity, when engineered, does not announce itself. It integrates. Agency. Understanding structure is not the same as surrendering to it. This week, identify one pressure in your life that feels urgent. Ask yourself, is this natural or is it structural? Is the urgency real or is it a function of design? Small awareness disrupts automatic compliance. And disruption begins with observation. This is part 3 of naming the machine. In part 1, we introduced the architecture and named the first 4 machine parts, as well as how they function in the system. In Part 2, we continue to name the remaining mechanisms and how they function within the structure. Part 3 reveals the pressure system used to herd you. If you have not seen Parts 1 and 2, start there. Because once you recognize the calibration, you stop mistaking pressure for inevitability, and that changes how you move inside of it. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Please like, share, and follow to support our channel. Join us on the School app for more in-depth insights. Find us on all social media @The Grounded Ones.